Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Let's go ahead and take a quick look here at Iotx and kind of see what's going on after the craziness we saw yesterday with an approximate 12% decrease in Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Obviously, we'll look at Bitcoin first, and just to throw it out there, it's not in terrible shape. This is a pretty standard correction. Yes, it's unfortunate, but it really just means that we have more potential for higher gains later, right? So we don't need to be super worried about that. So let's look at the basic stuff really quick. We're under both moving averages, not great news. We are testing 60,000 presently, essentially at this point, and obviously 58,000 was almost tested. So we have a pretty strong support channel here. I don't foresee that breaking, but if it were to, we could likely see a price come all the way down to about 52.5, 53,000, somewhere in that range. And if we look at the GAN too, you can kind of see that there's a good potential too as well for the price action to, if we lose 58,000, it could effectively come on down to this support level here, okay? So all in all, not terrible, but not great, I guess you could say. I would say that we're still a little early and premature in this general sense of, what's going to happen next. I would consider the fact that we're going to see at least another week's worth of consolidation. If nothing else, better case scenario, week of consolidation. Worst case, we're going to see 58 to 53,000. Not to try to concern you at all, but that is a potential likelihood at this point, just based on the way that things are progressing, and that Bitcoin is essentially becoming more responsive to specific world events too, right? It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. So all in all, not bad, but not great, if that makes any sense. Okay, and just before we look at Iotx as well, not a financial advisor, I just got to let you know that if you're new to the channel, thank you first of all and welcome. But I love teaching people how to trade and become better traders. So hopefully you can learn something here today. And if you need a leg up, you need somebody to kind of walk alongside you, or perhaps you'd benefit from signals that I send for every single trade that I take. I have a community. You can check that out. Link in the description below. So 4-hour chart here, let's actually look at the 1 day, work our way down, because I'm a firm believer of looking at big picture and essentially kind of just lowering it. So 1 day all the way down to, the 1 hour in most cases. So on the 1 day chart, let's go ahead and just look at the main indicators. Those are no longer relevant. We're under 70, but still under, okay. So let me explain this really quick. When the price goes under 70 on the RSI and it's been overextended for some time, it basically doesn't mean you're in bearish town, right? Because I get that question a lot. It basically just means that there's a potential resistance level here, which could be very synonymous with the 22-cent range, right? So if you see this resistance level where the price action kind of got resisted out here today, it's very close to the same distance away from 70 on the RSI. So that being said, that distance, so to speak, creates that resistance level, kind of reaffirms it. So pretty much just confirms the fact that right around 22 cents is a strong likelihood for a major resistance level. Okay. Once we break above that, we'll be over 70 on the RSI, and then we'll be all good in the sense of continuing that bull run, right? But it's not a problem per se when you're at 50, between 50 and 70 on the RSI. It's under 50 that's the biggest problem. That's mostly bearish qualities, bearish sentiment. But these RSI gets a little funky on the 1 day chart when you have significant increases like we've seen here, right? I mean, just this recent one, 150%. It takes a little while for the RSI to kind of level out, right? So no worries there at all. Iotx is still indicating bullish qualities. RSI is back over 50. I love this. This is a great sign because 50 can be a resistance level. It did work as a resistance for about 12 hours, and now it's back on track. That's fantastic. So more room for growth. We also have a potential for MACD convergence. Not to say it's going to happen, but this very well could look something like that, which is traditionally a buy signal to go long for swing trading. Now, these bullish qualities come with a clause, right? Because Bitcoin selling down to 58,000 or lower, just say even it hits 60,000 in the next 24 hours, there's a strong chance we're going to lose a little bit of momentum on this recent push and or big picture, right? So the macro, the micro, all those things are affected by Bitcoin. So we need to understand that, because obviously Iotx took a big hit in the last 24 hours. It's only reversing it's coming back here today in the last 2 to 3 hours based on the sheer fact that it's oversold, right? We came below 50 on the RSI, and people are like, hey, I need to buy this coin before the price goes any lower, or before it goes any higher, rather, because they want to get a good value. That's kind of the idea. So ultimately, that's kind of the psychology kind of going on here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 1 hour chart and see kind of where we're at. So for TD sequential, we got a nice little reset there. Obviously, that's pretty standard. We were down to a 5 previously, but you can see how strong that support level there, right about 18 cents is. It candle wicked down, and in less than an hour, it closed well above. So even though it came close, I can confidently say that right around 18 to 19 cents or 18 to 18.5 is a very, very strong support channel. And that will continue to hold as long as Bitcoin doesn't tank sub 58,000, right? I have to always include that in every single video, or just, most of my videos with coins like this specifically, where they have they're significantly selling off when Bitcoin sells off, right? As we can see here, it got hit hard, and previously on the 10th as well. I mean, look at that. That was major on the 10th. That being said, now that we are here, we're probably going to be just fine as long as Bitcoin holds its support, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Set your alert for like 60,000, 58,000 for Bitcoin, so you can pay attention to coins like this and kind of see what's going to happen. As soon as we lose that support and the price, starts to decrease, sub 58,000 more specifically, then we're going to see coins like this get hit hard again, right? Because this is from Bitcoin sell-off. This is from Bitcoin sell-off. So we need to be, honest with ourselves and respect the fact that that will happen and can happen. It's inevitability, right? The inverse could apply too, right? Bitcoin goes sideways or Bitcoin comes back up. We don't get that dead cat, that false positive, that we're going to be able to see Iotx take off. That's just the bottom line. So I just like to make sure to reaffirm that and reiterate that in my videos, so you can kind of understand generally that we're okay for now, but we're also not if Bitcoin does its thing. So just heads up on that. And I'm not extremely bullish on Bitcoin macro, right? Micro. In other words, short term, I think Bitcoin is still going to continue to sell off or consolidate. But big term, of course, long term, macro, we're definitely looking at, six figures. I'm confident in doing that. I'm adding to my position every $500. So in other words, I'm dollar cost averaging in Bitcoin right now, 10% every time the price drops by 500. And I think you should be doing something like that too, at least with your favorite coins. Anyways, that's besides the point. Let's look at the cloud. We're still not back above the cloud, so this is a potential barrier. And that's just reaffirming the fact that we have a strong resistance level here at about 22 cents. So until the price can break above the cloud, which may not happen for a few more hours, then we are not considered to be bullish, right? We need to have two things happen. We need to have the price break above the cloud for one. We want to have a MACD convergence potential on two. That's not something you have to have, but we want to have that. And then third, the tertiary, is to have one-day candlestick closing above one of these major resistance levels. So step number one, of course, is to get the one-day candle to close above 21 cents. That would be a big step, because this still hasn't confirmed that it wants to close above yet, right? We need that confirmation, and to me, the only confirmation you have is when the one-day candlestick closes. Okay. So that being said, that's kind of what we're looking for. So step number one, close above at 21 cents in the one day. Step number two, break above the cloud in the 1 hour. Step number three, simple as that. We get a MACD convergence in the 4-hour chart. Again, this is all dreamer stuff, right? It doesn't necessarily have to happen that way, but those things do happen. Then we got that perfect storm, that confirmation that we're moving in the right direction. And then obviously the very last thing, if possible, is to preferably have today's candlestick or tomorrow's one-day candle close above 22 cents, and then we'd be off to the races, right? At that point, then all we got to do is set our sights on about 26.5 cents, and then it'll be boomtown from there, right? We should and likely could see somewhere in the range of 37 cents, I would say, by month end. I think that's very realistic. Considering its progression, how it continues to increase, consolidate, increase, consolidate, I think there's a strong likelihood there. But you just got to understand and be real with yourself too here. This is extremely overextended from the get-go, right? It's up over 300% or at least it was up over 300%, right? Closer to maybe 250 now in the past 2 weeks. Okay, so a lot of growth, a lot of momentum. You got to give it time to kind of calm down. It got hit hard with Bitcoin yesterday. It's gotten hit hard before on the 10th with Bitcoin from all around. So there's just a lot of little things that kind of factor in. So that's why we look at the big picture stuff too. And we look at Bitcoin first, because any good trader will needs to understand what Bitcoin is doing. That's like the catalyst for everything, right? You can't just trade altcoins and not know what Bitcoin's doing. So please understand that, and please hopefully continue to learn in that sense. And that's why I like to send out Bitcoin updates frequently to my community. And I think that's why it's important to have a strong foundation in understanding how Bitcoin behaves before you look at any altcoins or invest in them too, right? Do your own research, of course, but I like to do a lot of research for you, so feel free to continue to watch the videos. Thank you so much, by the way, for watching here. And then last but not least, be sure to join my Patreon community, because rates are increasing next month. You can lock in your rates this month, and it's a really awesome experience where we're all learning and growing together, becoming better traders. And I share every single trade that I take too, so it's really cool. You can kind of see what it's like to be a trader, because I trade every single day of my life. Well, yeah, right now of my life. Last 15 years, of course, plus or minus, but for lack of better terms, this is my full-time job, and I'm dedicated to making sure you become a better trader. So check that out on your own time. And thank you so much for your time, of course, here today. Appreciate you, taking the time to watch and hopefully learn as much as you can. We'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. You take care. Goodbye.